a round of applause for the band, Blue Red Roses. Probably a round of applause for Nolan here on the grill from the VFW. Thanks, Nolan. Okay, our presenting sponsor today is Tega. Our diamond sponsors are Lake Region Healthcare, of course the VFW. Our gold sponsors are A&P Insurance, Service Food, who brought the chips and the drinks, Uncle Eddie's with the ice cream cart here. Of course, Fergus Home and Hardware. Okay, so as many of you went through the line here, you probably saw some stuff that was on the table, some swag stuff, and one of those things is a little coin-looking thing. It's a plastic coin. It says Daily Journal 150th Years of Excellence. It's got an old print press on the backside. It's actually plastic, okay? Here's the kick. If you guys are lucky enough to get one of these, you bring it to the Daily Journal after August 4th, and we give you a real coin. That's right. It'll be, I'm sure it's collectible, right, Jordan? Absolutely. So make sure you pick up these little plastic medallions. These are cool, and they're going to be turned in for real coins at the Daily Journal after August 4th. So very exciting. All right, at this time I would like to ask Mayor Ben Shire to come up, say a few words.
Thanks, Ken, and thanks everyone for being here today. I just have a couple short remarks, and then I have a proclamation that I'm proud to read on this anniversary, 150th anniversary of our local newspaper. So I was thinking about the anniversary, 150 years of our local newspaper in the community and this event, and saying a few words, and I thought there was 3 quotes that came to my mind, and then I thought about something my wife often tells me. She says, don't use quotes, Ben, don't use quotes. Say what you are thinking. And I thought to myself, you know what? I'm the mayor, she's not here, I'm gonna say those quotes, okay? The first one I'll always remember reading, it was by Thomas Jefferson, and he said, he was writing to a colleague, and he said, if I had to choose between government and newspapers, a government without newspapers, or newspapers without government, I would not hesitate to choose the latter. Like, he felt that strongly about newspapers. That should tell us something, right? So it's often, you know, our local hospitals and our local journalists and our local newspapers, sometimes we take them for granted, but without those in a community, think what it would, think what our community would be like. If, I was talking with Francis just a little bit ago, and he was, we were talking about the fact that if a local newspaper leaves a community, voter turnout goes down, participation in elections goes down by those who are running for office, taxes go up. Newspapers matter. And so I want to say thanks to the Daily Journal for being here for 150 years. Thank you to the Daily Journal. The second quote I thought about was one I heard from Mark Twain, and some of you may have heard that. And he said that if you don't read the newspaper, you're uninformed. And if you do read the newspaper, you're misinformed. But that does not apply to us here in Fergus Falls, thankfully, right? And the last quote that I thought about, this one is personal. It was when I was first elected to office back in the mid-2000s. And if those of you remember Russ Anderson had a quote for everything, but Russ Anderson was the mayor. I walked into his office and he had a copy of the Fergus Falls Daily Journal in his hands, and there was a little rift between one of the reporters and one of the council members at the time. And Russ Anderson, it's the best piece of political advice I've ever gotten. Russ Anderson looked at me, he put the newspaper down, he looked at me and said, don't ever get in a pissing match with someone who buys his ink in barrels. And I thought, I never did. I took his advice, and I've had a very good relationship with the Daily Journal for the time I've been in office. So with that, I just wanted to read this proclamation. It says, whereas in 1873, the first edition of the Fergus Falls Daily Journal was published, by editor Adoniram J. Underwood out of his home, and whereas the Fergus Falls Journal expanded to daily newspapers in downtown location in 1883, and whereas in 1872 the Daily Journal moved to new headquarters in East Channing Avenue, in 1985 the publication was sold by the Underwood family to Thompson Newspapers, and whereas the Daily Journal was purchased by Boone Newspapers in 1992, and in 2019 was acquired by Wick Communications and renamed Daily Journal Media. Whereas in 2020, Daily Journal Media relocated the publication to North Union Avenue, and whereas the Daily Journal Media marks their 100th anniversary by celebrating past and present Otter Tail County citizens, volunteers, elected officials, staff, athletes, and all who strive to preserve the history of the town through local journalism. So as they dedicate this 2023 year of celebration to honor the past, present, and future of our community, I, Ben Shire, Mayor of Fergus Falls, do hereby proclaim today, July 28th, to be Daily Journal Day in the city of Fergus Falls. Thank you.
Wow, how you follow that up? That's so good. Thank you, Ben. All right, I do want to read something that I wrote in a column I wrote back in January when I realized, hey, this is our 150th year. So I took a piece of that, and I'm going to read it right now. Newspapers tell the tales of our communities, the struggles and duties, the joys and triumphs. We bring news that matters and help readers see the world from a different perspective. So as we celebrate our 150th year, let us remember the importance of the press and local journalism. May it forever progress. Okay, so obviously the Daily Journal is deep in history, okay? And one of our partners in history is the Otter Tail Historical Society. And we have a very good one right here in Fergus Falls, and we are lucky to have it. I'm going to ask Chris Scholke, the director of the